Hello, friends, and welcome back to Pain to Passion Live. I'm really excited because today I get to chat with someone that I've kind of been getting to know on Instagram. We had a mutual friend, and I was like, this chick is awesome. And she said yes when I asked her to be on the podcast. So I'm so excited. Her name is Christine Capella. Hi, Christine. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I really am so humbled and honored to be here.
Well, I'm really, really excited to talk with you because you have just like the best vibe, so much energy, and an amazing story that I know our listeners are going to just be like gobsmacked by. It's one of my favorite words, gobsmacked.
It is a good word. I love
It's
it.
such a good word. But I'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about you. I'll put your bio and stuff in the show notes, but I love for my guests to just introduce themselves and say, like, this is who I am, because maybe something interesting that's not in the bio will come out. So go for it. Tell us who you are.
So my name is Christine Capella. I am 43 years old. I live in New York City. And in 2015, I was assaulted by a stranger and I've undergone multiple surgeries. The most recent was a spine surgery in 2019. And then I had a double spine surgery in 2020. And I'm a transformational coach along with motivational speaker. And really, what fueled me was my story. I realized that my story had a purpose and it led me to where I am now.
That's amazing. I mean, talk about pain to passion. It's like the perfect story for this podcast, which is part of the reason why I'm so excited to chat with you. But it's just interesting because you say like this happened in 2015, right? Which is like almost 8 years ago.
Yeah.
Just crazy. It's almost 2023. But you're still Christine. You were Christine then, and you're Christine now. Then this crazy thing happened to you, which we can go into the story more. But what would you say is like the biggest change in before Christine and after Christine? And also maybe what's stayed the same that's been at the core of who you are?
Oh, that's such a good question. I honestly think that at my core, I've always been really strong and very resilient. So that is really what got me through everything. But I don't know if I realized my strengths. I didn't realize my resilience. I didn't realize my grit and my determination. So like it was always there, but I didn't know it was there, if that makes any sense. So like
Absolutely.
this event actually like uncovered it a little bit more for me to really see it and see that that's who I was at my core. But then it also really built my confidence in myself, which sounds really crazy that such a traumatic event would build your confidence, but it really showed me that I can overcome any adversity and I can push forward. And that did build my confidence.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, how could anyone know what their strength is unless they face something that requires it, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you were a gritty, passionate, strong, go for it kind of person, but you had never faced anything close to what you faced in 2015, which really put you to the test.
Yeah,
right?
100%. And I feel like, like you always think that one thing that you're dealing with, like, I remember like prior to this, it was like, breakups and like these terrible relationships. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing in my life. And I'm never going to get through it. And then you get through it. And then this happened. And I was like, oh wait, this is way worse than any of my breakups, but I can use that strength from the breakups. And then when I was told that I was going to have the spine surgeries, I was like, oh my gosh, I can use all of the strength from before. So it was almost like, I really do believe in life that like you kind of get prepared gradually for these big defining moments. And that's really what happened, in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with you. I definitely agree. We can't really understand what the pattern of our life is for or what it's about until we have those aha moments. And
Yeah.
sometimes the aha moment is like something magnificent, and sometimes it's something really terrifying. But it's like, oh, that's what this was all leading up to, and I'm prepared for it now, which is pretty cool when you think about it.
Yeah,
So
100%.
I'm sure that people are already curious, like, okay, you've hinted at this story. So I would love to just open the floor and let you kind of share whatever you want about your story. And then we can dig into how you've become and who you've become through all of this. Does that sound good to you?
That sounds perfect to me.
Okay, let's go.
So I will say this, that this story is a very long story with a lot of like twists and turns and plots, and like there's a lot to it. So if I skip over any of it, or if you really want like the real nitty gritty, like it's on my Instagram and my highlights. So like I'm going to try to get through it, because like I said, there's so many layers to this story. But in 2015, I was out with my girlfriends, and I always like to preface the story with, there were a lot of times in my life when bad things should have happened. I put myself in a lot of bad situations. This was not one of those days. This was one of those days where nothing should have happened. It was a beautiful sunny Sunday afternoon, right? Like I wasn't in like in a bad area. And my friends and I were leaving the place that we were at, and we were waiting for our Uber, and there was a stranger on the street, and he was very intoxicated and started aggressively hitting on me. And what I always tell people too is that from my Instagram, you can't tell how little I am, but on a good day, I'm just brushing 5 feet. So I'm teeny tiny, and he's now aggressively hitting on me and pulling me by my arm, and I can't get his hands off of me. And so my friends come around, and they literally had to peel his hands off of me because he had such a grip on my arm. And we thought everything was over and done with. And we turned around, had our backs to him, thought he was leaving. And the Uber was literally like a minute away. And he came running up behind me, picked me up over his shoulders, and wanted to take me and carry me with him. But because he was too intoxicated, he couldn't hold on to me, and he let go. Which in a way is a saving grace too, because God knows what would have happened if he had taken me, or what his plan was if he had, been able to carry me away. But he had let go of me, and I went face first into the concrete. My hands didn't brace a fall. My nails didn't break. I didn't have a scratch on my hands, arms, nothing. My purse remained on my shoulder. So it was my entire face into the concrete. And then he fell right on top of me. And yeah, it's wild when you think about it, right? Like, it's just a crazy, and it's one of those incidents where this could have happened to anybody, right?
Mhm.
Like, like I said, I was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, one of those situations. So then he ends up taking off and running. I get put into an ambulance, and I don't remember very much at this point. I just remember that there was blood everywhere. I remember being in the ambulance and then asking to check for my teeth, and I started screaming, thinking I didn't have my teeth. Thank God my teeth were there. I end up waking up in the hospital to find out that I have a severe concussion. My sunglasses had shattered completely on my face and went through the bridge of my nose. My nose was completely shattered. This part of my upper lip that's connected to your nostril was completely detached from my nostril and hanging down, and they had to stitch that back up, and my teeth
Wow.
had gone through my lip. And then in the fall, he had also crushed my neck. So that was what I woke up to. And I remember being in the hospital, and again, when these things happen to your face, they won't let you look in the mirror.
Mhm.
And all I wanted to do, I mean, all I wanted to do was look in the mirror. We are all defined by our facial features, right? Like that's how people identify us and how we
Mhm.
identify ourselves. And I remember getting home, and that was the very first thing that I did when I got home from the hospital, and I was unrecognizable.
Wow.
It was like nothing I could have even been prepared for.
Wow.
And after that, I ended up having to go for 2 facial reconstructive surgeries. My nose, like I said, like I like to say, my nose was on the side of my cheek. Like it was not even connected. My face was just a mess. And little did I know that my neck was really going to be the cause of a lot of great pain. But at that
Mhm.
time, I was dealing with the facial issues and going for the facial reconstructive surgeries. And then I also had what's called post-concussive vertigo. And if anybody is familiar with vertigo, I think it might be the worst thing that I've ever experienced. The only way I can describe it is it's like having the drunk spins 24/7.
Oh my gosh. That's
That's the
horrible.
only horrible, horrible. So like imagine the nauseousness and the headaches and the sickness. It's just 24/7 you're feeling like that. And that went on for months for me. Like that was not just like a few days. The assault happened in May. I ended up having to go for a very specific type of physical therapy, which is called vestibular rehab. And I wouldn't say I would kind of cured it, is like putting it very lightly, in October, November. So it was months and
Wow.
months of spinning. But then, I mean, I still had more healing to go through and more physical therapy in that regard. And then I had to go for physical therapy with my neck. And I went for physical therapy for about 2 years, I would say, with my neck, and did all the injections and did everything that I could possibly do. And I remember the doctors looking at me, they're like, this is as good as it's going to get, and you're going to need surgery. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to need spine surgery. There is no way. I'm fine. And
Wow.
they were like, you're going to need it. I'm like, no, no, I'm not. Like, I was very, very determined that I wasn't ever going to need spine surgery. And then in 2019, I don't know what was going on. Like a lot of time had passed and I wasn't connecting the two, but I was, and I should have, like, I really should have been connecting the pain from that I was experiencing to the pain from the assault. But all of my pain was just gradually getting worse. And I was having terrible migraines and my arms were going numb and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And I remember one day being at work and I couldn't hold on to anything. And I called my mother and I was like, I actually think I need to go to the hospital. This is really bad. Like, I don't know what's going on here. So I took myself to the hospital in 2019 and they were like, you're going to need to go see a neurosurgeon. And
Oh my
again, like
gosh.
I should have known then that I was going to be going in for surgery. But again, it was like, I just had this like false like hope. I don't know if like that's what's gotten me through everything. But I was like, I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be fine. Like, there's no way I'm going to need surgery. I walk into the surgeon's office and he's like, well, we'll give you medication for 2 weeks. If that doesn't work, then we'll try you on some injections. I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's great. I'm going to be fine. I left there again, very hopeful that the medication was going to work. And I go back 2 weeks later and I couldn't understand why the medication didn't work. And
Oh,
again, still, I'm thinking, he's not going to tell me I'm going to need surgery. Like, I'm not going to need spine surgery. There's no way. And he's like, look, you need spine surgery. I'm like,
oh
what?
my gosh.
What do you mean? I go, I thought we were going to talk about injections. He's like, you've already done injections. They didn't work. You tried the medication. It's not working. You need spine surgery. And I think it was like within 3 weeks after that, I was going in, and
Wow.
so it was very fast. And I don't want to take away from any other type of surgery, but there's something really scary about going in for spine surgery, just knowing, I mean, there's always a risk with any surgery, right? Like, I'm not going to take away from that, but there was something different about this, like very different than my facial reconstructive surgeries, where I was like, I could be paralyzed
Yeah.
with a slip, like God forbid his hand shakes, like I could be paralyzed from the neck down. And so you just have to really mentally prepare for this in a totally different type of way than that I could ever even explain. So I did all the things that I could possibly do to mentally prepare myself. And I go in, and I'll never forget waking up from that surgery. And I looked at my surgeon and I said to him, Dr. Baum, did we make the right decision? Because again, I'm young in the spine surgery world.
Yeah, totally.
And so it was a difficult decision to make. And thankfully, the team of doctors that I have, like, they sat together as a team, they really discussed it, and they were like, yeah, no, you need surgery. And so
Mhm.
I trusted them. But again, it was a difficult decision. And so that was my first question waking up. And he's like, not only did we make the right decision, but you would have been paralyzed from the neck down within 6 months to a year if we didn't do the surgery.
Wow.
And I was like, what? Why? And he's like, your scans weren't showing that the bone fragments from the assault had moved into your vertebrae canal and were pressing against your spinal cord. And you had bone spurs growing at such a rapid pace that you would have been paralyzed from the neck down within 6 months to a year. And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
this is wild. So I escaped paralysis in the assault because I truly believe so many worse things should have happened on that day
Mhm.
that I escaped, and paralysis being one of them. Now here I am laying in this hospital bed, knowing that I escaped paralysis for a second time. And all I have is this massive amount of gratitude.
Wow.
And like, you couldn't keep me in that hospital bed. Like the nurses, the nurses were yelling at me because I was, like the compression things that go on your legs in the hospital. I was
Yeah.
ripping them off of myself, and I was just getting up out of bed, and I go in the bathroom, and they're like, whoa, like, you're supposed to ring for us, like you're a liability. I'm like, you cannot tell me to sit down after you just told me that I could have been paralyzed.
Seriously.
So I was like up and about and ready to go. But then, I mean, I was doing well with my healing, thought I was on the right path. And 6 months into that recovery, all my pain came back.
Oh
I was like,
no.
what the heck is going on? And now we're in the midst of lockdown, right? So now the whole world is on lockdown. I'm like, hospitals aren't even open, and I'm reaching out to my surgeon who's in like the COVID ward. God bless him for even like responding to me.
Wow.
But he's like, look, hospitals are shut down. There's nothing that you can do. Let's wait the full year. I was like, okay, we'll wait the full year. He's like, but you're on like even more restricted like workouts, because I was working out this entire time. Like, I wasn't stopping.
Mhm.
And he's like, we're going to restrict you a little bit more. I was like, okay, that's fine. Just don't tell me that I can't not move.
Yeah.
And so we again now have to meet and decide, am I going back in for surgery? What's going on? Why is the pain back? And we're realizing that the scans are showing that I'm fused because I had a fusion done, as well as all the metal that was put into my neck on that first surgery, which means that I should have had bone growth to connect my spine and just make it secure. And the scans are showing that I'm fusing and things are fine. But clinically, based on what I'm telling my doctors and going for the second and third opinions that my doctor insisted I go on, they were like, you're not fused. Something's not right. Like, you need to go in for another surgery. But this time you're going in for a double spine surgery. I'm like, what? What do you mean a double spine surgery? They're like, well, the first time we went in just the front of your neck. This time we're going to go in the front of your neck again, because two of the levels above aren't looking that great. We're going to fix those. But at the same time, you're going to be on a special operating table that has you strapped in and flips you over mid-surgery.
Oh
and we're going to go in the back of your neck vertically from the base of your skull down to the middle of like your back. And we are going to manually fuse you. So now we're going to put in titanium rods because you need to be fused. I'm like, okay, here we go again. Let me just like mentally prepare for this again. So I went through that same process and I did all the things that I needed to do. And I was scared. I mean, I can't lie. I mean, this was a bigger surgery, it's a 10-hour surgery. And now I already know what the pain is like, right? Like I've already done this once before.
Yeah.
I'm no longer a rookie.
Oh my gosh.
So I go in again, and again, I wake up. And this time is in the middle of COVID. So I'm by myself. And this is the first time like I'm really by myself because my parents, God bless them, had like really been with me through all my surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I'm like, well, I'm a celebrity at the hospital. They all know me. It's no big deal. Like I'll be fine. But I go in and I wake up from that 10-hour surgery and I ask my surgeon the same exact question. I said, did we make the right decision? And he said, not only did we make the right decision, but you weren't fused at any of your levels. And in the year of you supposedly healing and recovering, you weren't healed and your neck was like a weeble wobble. And so you snapped two of your titanium screws in half and you had metal fragments in your neck.
That is terrifying.
Terrifying. And the scans weren't showing any of it. So now, again, the third time, here I am, escaping paralysis. Like I'm waking up from this surgery with a new lease on life. And again, you are not holding me down in that bed. I am like a wild animal. I am just getting up out of bed. And I just have a massive amount of gratitude for life and for the fact that I can move my body.
Mm-hmm.
And now here we are.
Wow. Girl, that's a crazy story.
It's a crazy story. And that's like me cutting it down for you.
Yeah, I'm sure, because that's years worth of stuff, all like whittled down to however many minutes that was, not very much time. And not only was your body going through like so much craziness, but also let's talk about getting assaulted is like super traumatic in so many ways.
Yes.
Even if you hadn't gotten hurt, that would have been a lot to process.
Yes.
Right. But you did. So there was that mentally, physically, emotionally, like all of those things. It's just like you were in the fire.
Yeah.
For sure. But I look at you now. For anybody who doesn't watch the video and hasn't seen Christine, like go look at her Instagram. She's a beautiful person, which it's pretty amazing what those surgeons can do, right? Let's just talk about, wow.
Yeah.
Some very gifted people out there.
Very.
But you're also like smiling and you're showing up and you have kind of made this, I'm assuming it's a pretty big pivot in your life where now you're doing transformational speaking and coaching and all of this stuff. Like something really grew inside of you that is pretty extraordinary. Like what happened that brought you to, I mean, obviously we know what happened, but what did that pivot look like? Like, how did you decide, okay, I'm actually going to do something with this message. I feel like I have something to give back to the world, because not everyone, it's not right or wrong, but not everyone who goes through something like this is like, okay, now I need to use my story for good.
Yeah.
What was that in you that created that?
So again, I feel like I have a lot of long stories.
That's okay. Go for it.
It's really interesting because I don't think I really realized the power of my story and the power within me until this last spine surgery, which is really wild to think, right? Because hearing everything you would think that that's what would have propelled me forward. But it was actually I'm trying to think, when did I get into the social media space? I got into the social media space 5 years ago.
Okay.
And I didn't get into it because of my assault. I had no intention of sharing my story, but I got into it because I was going through a bad breakup. There's always a bad breakup, right? Like there's always some like man attached to certain things. So there was this bad breakup that I was going through, and I needed to focus my energy on something else. And fitness was already a part of my life. And I was like, how much more time can I really spend in the gym? Like, I need something else. So there was a girl that I knew that was part of an MLM, and I saw that she was doing it. And I was like, well, I can do this. Like, and I need to make some extra cash. So I ended up joining her team. I ended up just falling in love with social media. I do have a love for MLMs. I'm no longer part of an MLM. I'm very grateful for the journey that it brought me on. But she really pushed me to start sharing my story of my assault and how I overcame it and how I used fitness to overcome all of it, because I really did work out throughout the entire journey, which is wild. Like, and when I say working out, sometimes that just looked like a walk, right? But I made sure that I was moving my body throughout the entire process, even through all of my spine surgeries. And so she kept pushing me to share this story. And as I started to open up about that story, I realized the impact that I was having on other people. And I was like, wow, I never expected this. Because to me, at that point, even though at that point it was like 2 years old, I thought it was old news. I was over the story. I was like, I'm tired of this. Like, I'm moving forward in my life, right? Like, little did I know that I wasn't really moving forward. I was going to have 2 more spine surgeries. But I realized that I was impacting people just by sharing my story, and that there were actually other people out there that have been assaulted, whether it was domestic violence or something similar to what I went through. And just finding other people to share my story with was healing, not only for myself, but healing for them. And that was very, very powerful. But then, like I said, I don't really think that I realized my true power until this second spine surgery. I was laying in that bed after that surgery, and something hit me, something came over me where I was like, no, this is it. This is it. Like, I don't have any other choice but to move forward with this and keep sharing my story and keep helping people and keep inspiring people and keep showing people how to get up and get it done. And, that is my slogan, and that is my mantra. And that's been my mantra from day one. But that was when it was really like where it really came out of me, where I realized this can really help people. And I'm here in this position, I'm here in this hospital bed to help people and to show people what really can be done. And so that was a pivot for me.
Wow, what an amazing perspective. Like, to be there in the hospital and not to be thinking like, oh, woe is me, which I feel like in some ways you had a right to feel pretty sorry for yourself. But okay, you had 2 options, right? Be like, what the heck? Why am I here again?
Right.
Or the option that you chose, which was like, oh my gosh, I just dodged the bullet again. I am getting up out of this bed and walking away. Like, I'm a miracle.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I see this, it's kind of interesting as I'm thinking about it. I see this repeatedly in people's lives where if something happens 3 times, it's like God's really like trying to hit you over the head. Like, this has there's a reason that you're experiencing this, and it's not just for you, it's for so many other people. And stories are so powerful, right? We're moved by story. That's why we love to go to movies. It's why we love to read books. It's because stories move us at like a human level in a way that other things just don't. So I love that you're sharing your story. I think it's so, so powerful. And again, for those of you who can't see Christine right now, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see her. But otherwise, her sweatshirt says get up and get up, get it done, which by the way, I need one of those. It's super cute.
Yes,
and then,
my new launch is coming out soon.
Yay!
It's coming soon.
That's exciting. I'm totally going to get one. And her screen says get up, get it done. And she says it all the time. Like on her reels and everything, she says get up, get it done. So Christine, can you kind of tell us like what's this get up, get it done all about?
Yeah, so I'm going to share that, but I do want to go back to something that you said about how I had a choice to say like, woe is me, why is this happening to me again? And I do want to say that I did go through those moments. Like, I don't want anybody to ever think that I'm like overly positive, right? Because these were traumatic moments and I did have my dark moments. When I was told that I was going back in for spine surgery, believe me, I was on the floor in my apartment, like, woe is me. Why is this happening? How am I going to do this again? How can I go through this pain again? Like, how am I going to, like, there were all those questions. So all of that did happen, but I always say that there's got to be a time limit on your pity party, right? So
I love that.
When I was given the news, I feel like I was given it on like a Thursday or Friday, because I remember like the weekend, spending the weekend on the floor of my apartment, just like crying. But then I finally was like, you want to know what? Like, I'm going to get up and get it done. Like, I can't sit here on the ground anymore. These are the cards that I'm being dealt. I need to play out this hand and see how it goes. And that's it, right? Like, I have that choice to make a decision now. And either I can go in to the surgery feeling defeated, or I can go in and look at myself as the victor and come out with a victory. And that's what I ended up doing. And so, and then also just getting that good news after coming out of surgery, like where, you know, like that does help a little bit.
Yeah,
that definitely helps. But I do think that we are all human and we are definitely entitled to have those lows. You have to feel through those lows.
Oh, for sure.
You just don't want to get stuck there. So give yourself a time limit on the pity party.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because you're right. We do have to feel the things.
Yeah.
It's unhealthy to deny that like things that suck.
Right.
That things that are sad, and you need the healing and you need support around you. You need therapy, you need like all the things. I'm a full advocate of all the healing things. I am also an advocate of the time limit and sorry, my dog just like walked by. Sorry, podcast listeners. She just like, I just had all this hair, like so gross. Anyway, the time limit is so great. It's like, I think the Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, which I'm sure you've thought of, you've heard of that. It reminds me of this because there is something that happens in your brain when you say, I am giving myself permission to feel, but I am also moving forward. It keeps you out of that victim mode.
Yeah.
To an extent, you know what I mean? Where you're taking power back in your life, even in those darkest moments, and getting it done. And I think what I've loved seeing you show up recently, because you're not talking about get up, get it done just with like physical ailments or those kinds of struggles. You're talking about it in relationships. You're talking about it in decision making and all of these different things that you talk about. I mean, you've been talking about, I think, like narcissists and things like that recently, which I've been like, yes, girl. It's important. But anyway, I'm totally getting sidetracked by all of that. But I love that get up, get it done. I think it's inspiring. I know.
I think that like, for me, I know that it has pulled me through my darkest moments, right? Like not only with physical pain and daily chronic pain that I still deal with every single day. Like I can't even tell you the number on the scale of pain that I'm at right now today, like my pain doesn't go away. So I still use it every single day to get myself out of bed. But also, people think that relationships sometimes, like when you have that breakup, like it's not supposed to be as difficult as it is, but breakups are hard. That heartache is hard, and sometimes you do have to get up and get it done, and you do have to walk away and get up and get it done, and like keep moving forward. And so really, like, this mantra for me applies to all areas of my life, where really it's just about facing the hard, going forward, and pushing yourself past that limit, right? Because I think a lot of times we think that we can't move through whatever that pain is, whether it is actual physical pain, whether it's heartache, whether it is mental pain, mental health, whatever it is, like we think that we can't push through it. And a lot of times you just have to get up and get it done. That's it. Just keep moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to hear your thoughts. I know I could talk, for hours, but I'd love to hear your thoughts about the importance of having people around you that can help push you forward too. Because I'm sure that while you are a very strong human, you didn't do all of this alone. What has been the importance of those relationships around you to help you move forward?
So I have two like feelings on this, right? Because a lot of it was done on my own, in that like I had to have the strength within myself to pull myself up and go and work out, like I like to say, or move my body, right? Like nobody else was going to do it for me after that assault, when I could barely stand up and I was wobbly, and I remember arguing with the doctors. I was like, when is somebody going to clear me to work out? Because I need to start moving my body. They're like, you're crazy. You're not going anywhere. Sit your behind down. And I was like, no, I need to move. And finally, like when they did clear me, my mom would walk with me because I wasn't steady enough on my own 2 feet. So although it was me pulling myself up and me telling my mom that I wanted to go for a walk, having my mom there as my support system was so critical. And I always say, people can support you, but nobody can come and save you, right? Like nobody can do the hard work for you, but you do need that support system, even if it is just one person. And I've been very, very blessed with the most incredible parents ever. Like if you watch my stories religiously, like whenever I'm with my parents make a little cameo. My mom's kind of Instagram famous. People are obsessed with my mother. That's a whole nother dynamic on my Instagram that I can't even get into. But having that support system is so, so important, because otherwise, at least for me, I know that you can easily fall into that negative spiral, and having that support system, having like my parents to be able to like laugh with. So for example, like things weren't always so serious. We would have moments of laughter. And I think that if you don't have that, then it's really hard to get through the hard moments in life. I'm a big believer in laughter. Like, as you can tell, like, I know you mentioned it before that, like, I've been smiling the whole time. Like, I think that laughter is medicine and it is good for your soul. And you have to find moments of joy in your day, even in your darkest moments. It's actually part of my morning routine. I do what I call car dancing.
I love it.
It's so ridiculous. But like on my drive into work, I just blast music and I car dance, and that's it. Like, when your music's up really loud and like you're just dancing and vibing out, like that's part of my morning routine because it just makes me feel good. But I think that having that support system to get you through those dark moments and to laugh and to smile with, and just even to cry with, like you need those people.
Yeah, definitely. I have found that to be true in my life as well. I think probably most people have. And like you said, there was so much of it that was just like you had to make the choice,
Right.
which really, again, comes back to you owning the power that you do have to make the decision to move forward in that moment.
Yeah.
But to have those people around you to move forward with you is like so invaluable, right?
It is. And
Yeah,
it makes the journey a little bit easier.
it sure does. It sure does. Absolutely true. Yeah. Well, this has been so awesome. I mean, you have shared so much great stuff. And again, we'll just have to chat again another time,
We
because
will.
you have so much wisdom and so much great stuff to share. I would love for my listeners to be able to connect with you. What's the best way for them to get connected with you right now as they're listening?
The best way to get connected with me is on my Instagram at Christine Capella. I have just branched out to TikTok. So you
Oh,
can find,
hey.
I know, right? I feel so big, like dipping my toe in TikTok.
I love it.
But you can find me over there. But Instagram really is the best way. And I always tell everybody, feel free to send me a message. I love connecting with people. I respond to everybody. If somebody is going through a struggle, I am here. I just love, love, love connecting with people in my DMs.
And you're good at it. You're gifted at it. So
Oh, thank
take her
you.
up on it, you guys. And I'll be sure to put everything in the show notes as well. But for those of you who are just like, I love this girl, I want to get connected right now, just go find her on Instagram. Thank you, Christine. If there's anything else you want to share before we leave, feel free. But otherwise, I will definitely not take any more of your time today. But is there anything else you wanted to share with us before we go today?
I just want to say thank you. And to all the listeners, always get up and get it done every single day.
Yes, so good. Thank you, Christine. Have an amazing day. We'll chat soon.
Definitely. Thank you.
Bye.